Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
What is the big difference between, Gearbox and say Einstein / Alexander? How can you do a few different things? So I'm actually going to go ahead and give me a second. I'm going to pull up a Google Doc and I want to talk about the few bullet points that we're going to go over today all together. So let me just pull up a blank document here. Here we go. All right. Reshare my screen. So the first thing we want to talk about is one, how to continue to use Gearbox the same way you were using Einstein or Alexander. Two is how to use Gearbox / different strategies, but still have Gearbox manage your open Einstein or Alexander trades. And three is actually discuss the added features that Gearbox has Einstein or Alexander did not have. I don't know why autocorrect doesn't want to let me type Einstein there. There we go. Or Alexander, discuss that features that Gearbox has Einstein or Alexander did not have. All right, so we're going to talk about these different things and make sure that you guys are familiar with these so that you can continue to have an incredible experience, because Gearbox does a lot of things Einstein Alexander doesn't do as well. It can do everything Einstein and Alexander was doing. So we're gonna talk about all that today and talk about some of the differences. And the one difference I'm going to point out from the gate, I can tell you there's one thing that Gearbox does not have Einstein and Alexander does have, and this is known as double trades. They do not exist in Gearbox. When I say a double trade, if you were using Einstein and Alexander, maybe you saw a buy sell trend level 0, but then you saw well, I guess it wouldn't be buy sell, it'd be buy trend. Yeah, buy. Okay, and then you had a buy counter trend level 0. So even if you had your max gears set to say 8, that actually could equal 16 in Einstein. In Gearbox, it's just 8, if that makes sense. So there are no double trades in Gearbox. This is one of the big benefits. You had the ability to turn them off in Einstein and Alexander. In Gearbox, they just don't exist, as we did not believe that they were actually useful and that they were actually more dangerous than useful. So let's get right into switching over. So once you're inside your VPS, you're going to be logged into the account that you had Einstein or Alexander open on. All right. And now you're going to see Gearbox and Gearbox Manager in your expert advisors. So you might be asking, okay, what's the strategy? How do I do all this? How does this all work? Well, the first thing is, if you wanted to continue to use it just like Einstein and Alexander. All right. So before we even get into all the powerful things about Gearbox and other ways you could customize it, let's talk about if you just wanted to do what you were already doing. All right. Chances are you were running these pairs. Personally, I'm not a fan of USD JPY anymore, but chances were you were running it. And Euro USD. And if you were running any other pairs, awesome. Replace those pairs with the ones you were running here. All right. You're going to open these 3, but you're also going to add one more chart. You're going to add gold. All right. Now you're not running Gearbox and gold. Gold is going to be used for what's known as the Gearbox Manager. And I'll show you that in a minute. But you would simply, just like how you did Einstein Alexander, you're going to open your charts. Now, first thing, you're going to obviously go here and you're going to put gearbox on your first chart. Just go to your common, make sure these boxes are checked. Hit OK. Just like normal, same way you set up Einstein. Now, all right, there's more to this. You're going to go ahead and make sure you're on the daily time frame. You might have to validate. So there might be a validation window that pops up and sends you to, Auvoria Prime 8443/device to register and log in. If that happens, go ahead and do that. Now you're going to open these other three. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. You're going to chart the next windows, and we're going to put all these on the daily time frame as well. And what you would be able to do is you'd now be able to come over here and open gold. And you're going to put Gearbox Manager on gold. Now, inside the manager, there's two things that you need to know. If you wanted to run it how Einstein came out of the box with default settings, first, Einstein came with a 250 pip stop loss. Personally, I used to raise that when I used Einstein myself to about 500 pips to give it room to breathe. So Gearbox by default comes with 500. You can leave 500 if you want. You could lower it to 250, 300, 400, whatever you want to make it. You can change your stop loss. The next thing is, by default in Einstein and Alexander, these numbers were flipped. The range multiplier was actually 1.15 and the position size was 1.35. This is how people were getting really incredible returns, but also it could get you into risky drawdown every once in a while. In Gearbox, we flip them because it allows you to withstand larger market volatility with less risk. Now, if you wanted to run it identical to how you were, you could also input any of the settings you were running in Einstein yourself here. Many things will look alike. There's a few things that you'll see are different, but those are the first most important things to discuss is the stop loss distance, and then your range multiplier and position size multipliers. Those are the things that are going to be different by default about Gearbox in the default settings. And then you can obviously go use your weekly goal if you want to. By default, it's on an outrageous number so that it doesn't get hit. Same with your max equity risk, where you want all your trades to close out. But what do you have inside Gearbox that's so different? Well, the first thing is you have notifications of drawdown. So at 10% and 20% drawdown, you're going to get notifications. The next thing you have is what's known as a balance protection setting, meaning that if you ever hit 25% drawdown, it's going to stop taking any new trades. It'll not open a new trade. It'll not take another trade as long as you are over 25% drawdown. I call this the chill out feature because it really protects your account, it protects your capital, and puts you in a position to handle black swan events, major market movements and crashes, and not, run into a bad day. So this is a great feature with the balance protection. And, the other features that make Gearbox so powerful is what's known as the gear selector. But first, I'm going to show you how to just run it like Einstein. So you chose your settings, you understood everything. You're going to hit OK here. And next thing you know, you're going to hit this button that says instant entry. You hit that button, and what you're going to see is Gearbox is now on all the charts, and it'll actually take a minute, unlike Einstein, where it immediately fired a trade. Instant entry will immediately fire a trade, but it might take a few minutes before it starts kicking off trades once you apply it. Paul said, where do notifications go? Paul, the same place notifications should go before. If you go to your tools and then options, go to notifications, and on your mobile phone, put your MetaQuotes ID here and enable push notifications. Hit test, make sure it worked, and hit OK. And that's where your notifications of drawdown would go as well. So that's how you can set it up to run identical to what you were doing already with Einstein. So you understand that it can run the same. It just does not have any double trades. They do not exist in Gearbox, but it can do everything else and has the same settings, just with more features and more risk management. Now, so we covered how to continue to use Gearbox the same way. This we covered, all right? If everyone here feels confident that they understand how to run Gearbox the same way they were using Einstein Alexander, let me know in the comments, and we'll move on to number 2. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please throw them in the chat and we'll go ahead and make sure we get those answered so that everybody else that's watching this call live or either recorded can have all of their questions answered as well. I'm not seeing any new questions in the chat, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to number 2. All right, so next is how to use Gearbox / the different strategies, but still have Gearbox manage your open Einstein or Alexander trades. All right, so first thing is you need to understand what makes Gearbox so powerful. So we're going to take a look at this chart here. Now, what this chart is that you're seeing is this is where in precision modes, Gearbox enters its trades. So the best example I could give you is, all right, let's just, for purposes of math, just look at this picture that I'm blowing up. You don't need to look at the calculator. That might confuse you right now. Just look at this picture. So when you were using Einstein and Alexander, there's probably times where you got into drawdown and you maybe asked yourself, you said, why couldn't it have, not taken this trade, this trade, this trade, and this trade? Why couldn't it only taken this trade, right? You often saw those times where it's stacking positions into the market and next, you have a ton of positions open on one currency pair. And you're just asking, why did it take all the ones at the top? I understand some of the ones near the bottom, but maybe not these. All right, well, essentially what we did in Gearbox is we created what's known as a level selector. So you're able to actually go to different currency pairs and say, skip level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But if a level 6 opportunity ever happened, I want to take that trade. And this strategy came from a manual trading strategy I had where back in the day, anytime Einstein used to go into drawdown, I used to manually take a trade. And I asked myself, what if I could just create a product that only took those winning trades? And that's essentially what we did here with Gearbox. And we took a bunch of data we had, and through time, we've modified these entries. But what you're seeing right here are the pre-programmed Gearbox manager entries, where if you were to use it in swing mode, sniper or super sniper, this would be the gear entry where the actual software would take a trade on these different currency pairs. So for example, you see on swing settings on GBP NZD, we're not even entering until level 6, right? We're talking about 300 pips. So I'm basically saying if GBP NZD goes 300 pips against me, take that trade. But you're probably saying, well, how do I know if it goes 300 pips against me if we're not taking the trade? Well, Gearbox trades in what's known as a ghost server. And to give you a visual of that, I'm going to go ahead and actually connect to one of my admin VPSs. So on this VPS, please keep in mind that you can't see what I'm about to show you on your end, but I'm going to show you what I mean by the ghost server. So essentially what Gearbox actually does is it's actually going to trade behind the scenes. So here we go. Let's just click a pair like EuroCAD. We're looking at EuroCAD right now. So you can see I have open trades open on EuroCAD. Well, actually, I want to show you a pair I don't have open trades on. So right now we're in EuroCAD, NZD-CAD, and CHF-JPY. So let's show you GBP-CAD. So if we click this file, you can see GBP-CAD is in a level 0 and 1 trade on a sell on this trading account right here, 11063210. It's taking that trade in what's known as a ghost server. So it's actually trading behind the scenes in a notepad. But then when it gets to your entry, the gear entry that's selected for your strategy as shown here, it's actually going to go ahead and take that trade on your account. So now that you understand that part of what makes Gearbox so special is this level selector, gear selector, whatever you want to call it, we can go ahead to explain the next strategies to you and how they work and understanding Gearbox a little better. So let's get right back into the VPS here. So let's close all these out. And let's say you wanted to go ahead and we'll leave the manager open for now. But we're going to go hide all these pairs. We're going to retype in all the pairs. So the first thing is understanding I don't know why these always don't. There we go. The pairs that you can run. So I'm showing you this chart here to your left. Now, the pairs in yellow, you don't want to run. These are the worst performing pairs. Funny, they're all JPY pairs. I'd avoid them. Personally, I've never had a great experience with JPY pairs and any form of reversal or counter trend strategy. Now, you're going to be able to type in all the pairs here in white and green, and you're just going to add them all. Now, keep in mind, this is how you'll be able to run it in precision mode. Now, there is one more mode that I'm going to cover after precision for those people that maybe wanted to continue to run it more like Einstein. So, right, when we're talking about precision mode, we're really eliminating the kind of way Einstein ran. We're really waiting for precise trades where it doesn't take a lot of trades. I need you to understand this. These precision modes, there might be a week you even don't get any trades. And some people might be like, is it broken? Freaking out because you're just so used to the software always being in trades. And with Gearbox, it's really looking to find precise trades and catch larger trade movements in the market. So you have to have some patience. Now, if you don't have a lot of patience, then, and you have a higher risk tolerance, maybe instead of just running it like Einstein, you might be interested in the skip a level strategy. But I'm going to cover the skip a level strategy last, because Gearbox and what I designed Gearbox for was these precision modes. These intraday modes are really to accommodate people that loved the Einstein strategies and how that kind of operated, and to be able to have a very similar experience. But I designed Gearbox for these precision modes. So I always tell people, typically, if you wanted to, run it just how you already were, you can absolutely do that if you're comfortable with that. But if you maybe want to run it a little different, maybe you're like, precision is going to be too slow, but just like how Einstein was running, maybe not as much either, then you might be interested to skip a level. But again, I'm going to cover that at the end of this call, because I do think that the precision modes are what you're a star child. So we're going to keep adding these pairs in here down the list on the left. Just added NZD CAD, and we're just going to keep going down. And this might seem overwhelming. It's a lot of currency pairs. It seems a little scary. Don't worry. It's not scary at all. The Gearbox Manager makes all of this the easiest experience in the world. I actually think with the Gearbox Manager, it makes the setup process even easier than, say, Einstein and Alexander may have been for many people to use to set up. Oops, I don't want the mini ones. AUD CAD. And we're just, like I said, we're just going down this list. We're typing in all the pairs that are suitable for us to trade. And we're going to skip any pairs that are in yellow. You do not want the ones in yellow unless you have a higher risk tolerance and you're okay with taking losses every once in a while. They can make profit, but data shows that, you should just avoid them. But again, I got to give you the opportunity and the ability to run any pair. So I'm just going to give you the data and let you make your own informative decisions, which ones are best for you. But now that we have all these pairs typed in, okay, this is where we're going to have to go ahead now and open them all up. And then we're going to talk about the strategies, and you're going to be able to choose which strategy you want based on historical data. I'm going to show you some MyFX books. I'm going to talk about some different results that people are having so that you can make your own informative decision. And also we're going to talk about risk, based on the strategies you're choosing. So with this being said, let's go ahead here, and I'm going to start opening these all up. We're just going to right click each one and click chart window. And then once you have every single one of these charted, I'm going to show you what we do next. But again, we're just going to keep going down this left-hand column. We are going to chart every single window here. All right. Now that you have every single window charted, you come up here and you're going to hit this button that says arrange windows as non-overlapping tiles. So you're going to click that button to arrange everything like this. And then you're going to go one by one and click each one and come right here and click daily, D1. Just go like that. A little tedious. This is the hardest part of the setup right here. And then once you're done that, we're going to choose which strategy you want to use. And you might be like, wow, this is a lot of currency pairs. How's this work? I was using Einstein. I was only trading 3 currency pairs. Now I see 19 on the screen. What's going on, Tyler? Well, we're going to talk about it. And again, what's so powerful is we've determined really the precise entries in some of these more volatile currency pairs that previously maybe weren't a fit for Einstein that can be a fit for Gearbox when you have a level selector. And again, we're just going to keep going down, putting them all in the daily. So now you have to determine which strategy you want to use in precision mode and how conservative you want to be, your risk tolerance, and your lot size, right? So the first thing is we're going to talk about the rules of thumbs. So we're going to come back to this Google document real quick. And the first thing we're going to talk about is instant entry mode like Einstein. All right, lot size 0.01 per 3K. If you have 1K, 1 pair, 2K, 2 pairs, 3K, 3 pairs. Okay, now, and that also goes for intraday. So all intraday modes, including skip a level, same lot size, 0.01 per 3K. And we're going to talk more about skip a level at the end of this call. Now, precision modes. And we're going to talk about where things change as well here. So precision modes, we typically for rule of thumb go 0.01 per 1K on swing, sniper, and super sniper with 3 max pairs trading at same time, scanning 19 to 28 pairs, depending on, what your risk tolerance is, but allowing 3 to trade at the same time. Now, where does this change? All right. Once you go over 10 to 25K in capital, you should definitely decrease your lot size and risk. So how would you do that on intraday modes? So in intraday modes, you would go 0.01 per 5K, 10 to 25K plus capital. All right. Same kind of concept here. You're going to go anywhere between 0.01 per 2 to 3K in capital to decrease your risk as you have a larger account with Gearbox. So these are the lot sizes depending on, ideally your capital. Now, when we come over, let's go back to the VPS we were looking at here. So now when we talk about the strategy you want to use, you have to determine how many trades maybe you're looking to get. So I'll give you an example here. This is a 10K account of mine currently running the swing strategy on my FX book here. You can see this account's been running since August. Now we've only taken 189 trades. If you go compare this to any of your Einstein accounts or strategies, you'll see you've taken a lot more trades than that. So as I mentioned, when using precision modes, you're not taking a lot of trades, you're really taking precise ones. And remember, swing strategy are these blue entries here on all these different currency pairs. This is the level they would enter their first trade on your account. So swings are earliest entry precision mode, and this account's still only taking 189 trades. Now I want to show you another customer here. This is a customer, a smaller account. It's been running the sniper strategy with 3 max pairs running since, October, right when Gearbox launched. And you can see even on sniper strategy, since October, he's only taken 126 trades, but he's won 83% of them. His profit factor is incredible. His monthly's pretty good. Drawdown obviously hit on the higher side, but his initial deposit, as you can see, he made a big deposit right here and increased his equity. Prior to that, he had started with wow, $853, and they made another deposit. So really about $1,300 in initial deposit, and grew this account, and was up over 100% before he added more money in. So this is incredible to be able to show you guys, because it shows you that, hey, this person started with $1,000, and 30% drawdowns, a reasonable, acceptable drawdown for me for a small account. Now, obviously, I would like it to be less, which it will be. And you're probably asking, well, how are you going to make drawdown even less, Tyler? And a more advanced feature for those of you watching that is coming out, and you see that we're trading a lot of pairs, a lot of currency pairs, right? And a lot of times currency pairs can become correlated, meaning that some of these pairs may move the same direction or opposite directions, and they could trend for a long time. So we wanted to build what's known as a correlation filter for Gearbox. And essentially how this works is, let's say CAD CHF enters a buy, and then EuroCAD goes to enter a sell. It's going to block EuroCAD from taking a sell because it's mitigating risk, because it knows that if this buy on CAD CHF goes down and you sold on EuroCAD, well, EuroCAD's going to go up, and both trades are going to go against you. So we built a filter that's coming out that's going to completely eliminate correlated pairs from taking trades that could get you into a higher drawdown. So I'll give you an example. Right now, my account is in correlated pairs. I'm in some drawdown, right? Well, we're in some correlated pairs right now. We have EuroCAD, NZD CAD, CHF, All right, we could have avoided that by mitigating one of those pairs, right? and produced a lower drawdown. Same concept here in this period and with any of the accounts. So through time, you're going to notice that, the drawdown is actually going to minimize, and the profit should actually increase with this new feature coming to the Gearbox model. Now that I've showed you some strategies, that was swing and that was sniper. You saw about how many trades they're taking. Not a lot of trades. You see, 126 over 9 months on this account, or 189 in this account over 9 months, 126 on that sniper account since October. So not a lot of trades, but it does take trades. It does take very precise trades. So now you need to decide what strategy you want to use if you are going to go with precision modes. Personally, I'm going to tell you right now that I'm using on most of my accounts the swing strategy right now, because the markets have been pretty boring, to say the least. Now the sniper strategy is going to be the most accurate, and it's going to get you the best trade, accuracy. And super sniper is going to be really conservative. Super sniper was really designed for a very small balance, say under $500 with one max pair trading. But it also can be used for a very large account and capital. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to set my lot size. We talked about lot sizes and rule of thumb. So this is a 100K account. Because it's such a large account, I'm going to go 0.01 per 3K. So I'm just going to put like a 0.35 lot size starting here. Be super conservative with it, and I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. My lot size has been set. And now that my lot size is set, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply the swing strategy. I'm just going to hit this button just like this. Now, it is important to note some more rule of thumbs here. If you are using less than 1K with precision modes, please decrease your max pairs to 2 or 1 for a very conservative user. So this is important. So now what's cool is, even though you just applied this precision mode, even though you have open trades on Ainstein potentially, as long as the currency pairs are open with Gearbox that you have open trades on, it's going to continue to finish those trades you have open with the Einstein strategy. And then once those trades close, it's going to start to take new trades in precision. Now, let's say that you have your setting set at 3 max pairs for trades and gearbox. Okay, if that's the case, then what you're going to have to go ahead and do, also make sure in the gearbox manager, you also check these boxes. If you do not check these boxes in the gearbox manager, when you apply your strategy, gearbox actually won't be running. How you'll know if it's running is you will see a smiley face go into the corners. So now you see the smiley face applying, and then it should start to say trading. But until you see this smiley face in the corner, you are not running. And you'll see, you can also go to the experts tab here, and you can see gearbox applying all the settings from the manager and initializing. So this is gearbox initializing. It just set itself up. Everything's operating. And then you're just going to give it a few minutes to kick on. So it'll take about 5-10 minutes. And then within 5-10 minutes, you're going to start seeing, if you came to this experts tab, you would start seeing messages that say ghost trades, trading in ghost server. Let's see if I find them in the street here to show you guys. No, I'm not. Oh, there we go. So you'd see messages like this, modifying of ghost trade. You'll start to see messages like that. You'll know it's working. But yeah, like I said, give it a few minutes. Once you set it up, make sure you have the smiley faces. But now that you've set up in the precision modes, everything's good to go. There's a few things, as well, that again, you could come in and you could customize, such as your max pairs, but it's going to manage your open Einstein trades. Now, say you already have 3 max pairs trading from Einstein, and you're like, well, I really want Gearbox to be able to take a trade in precision mode. You could increase this to 4 if you have a higher risk tolerance, depending on your risk capital, and reapply the strategy, and it would apply to all your open charts. So you would just change that max pair setting again in here, and then you would re-hit the button to apply your strategy. Now, note, please only apply your strategy on the weekend. Choose a strategy that you want to use on the weekend and roll with it through the rest of the week. Don't try to make a bunch of changes midweek. All right. So let's go back to our notes here. So now we've covered how to use the different Gearbox strategies, but still have Gearbox manage your open Einstein and Alexander trades. Does anyone have any questions on this right now? Go ahead and put the questions in the Q&A or the chat box. All right, next we're going to go ahead and discuss the added features that Gearbox had that Einstein Alexander did not. So let's get back right into that, and let's talk about skip a level. So if you wanted to manage your software similar to Einstein Alexander, but a little bit different, you could go with what's known as the skip a level strategy. Now I'm going to open to my notepad. Give me a second here, and I'm going to share my notes here on exactly what that is. So when it comes to running it like Einstein, you have your intraday modes and day modes. So you have daily time frame, instant entry strategy we talked about, and you can choose between any of these pairs here for the 3 pairs you want to use in your instant entry strategy. Now, when it comes to skip a level, you're going to actually trade these 6 pairs. So what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm just going to go ahead and close all these. We're just going to close all the charts real quick, and I'm going to show you how to set up skip a level and explain what skip a level is. Because for those of you who really liked the way Einstein traded, you were okay with it taking a lot of trades and being in, a state of drawdown and understanding how it worked, we're going to talk about skip a level as well, because you have instant entry, but if you wanted to do something similar but a little different, you could do skip a level. Now, what is skip a level? Well, essentially, skip a level is exactly what it's called. You're literally just skipping gear 0. So you're essentially saying, okay, when things hit gear 1, I want to take that trade. And how you're doing that, again, is other VPS here. What you're going to go ahead and do is we are going to set you up on these 6 pairs, right? So all you would go ahead and do is you would open up the 6 pairs stated here. And you might be asking, where do we come up with the determination for these pairs? These pairs performed extremely well in forward testing and back testing scenarios with the instant entry strategy. So they will also perform well for skip a level. These were some top contenders. USD CAD has recently become more on the trouble list because of the Canadian Academy, but it is still a great pair to run, and I would consider it better than USD JPY any day. And now that you have those 6 pairs open, you're going to again put them on the daily time frame. You're going to make sure you have your lot size proper for your risk. So in this case, I need to actually decrease my lot size a little. I'm going to go 0.01 per 5K, as this is a 100K demo. And then let's go in here. I'm going to go, if we have a 0.05 per 100K, what are we putting? That's putting us at 20.20 there. So go to 0.20 lot size. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit this button that says skip a level. And the skip a level strategy has now applied to all my charts. And just like that, we are running with the skip a level strategy, which again, like I said, is really, similar to Einstein, as it's just skipping 0 and it's going to 1. And then you're just avoiding double trades. So you have less risk, but you also have all the benefit of having the same trade possibilities, opportunities, and to trade like that. So let me see if there's any more questions in regards to Einstein and Alexander. If anyone has any more questions in regards to Einstein and Alexander and different things that you need to know, I think we've covered everything today. And all the benefits of Gearbox, what makes Gearbox so powerful, and how you could continue to use it just like Einstein if you wanted to, or a twist a little different than Einstein, or the precision modes, which Gearbox was designed for, which are very conservative and don't take a lot of trades. So you have the ability to use intraday modes and get a lot of trades, or the ability to use precision and really only take those really, really precise potential trade opportunities. But I do want to go ahead and show a few more my FX books and cover some expectations. So we're going to come down here and go to 4 expectations with precision modes. All right, so we'll actually take that up here, and let's go ahead and talk about that, right? What are your expectations with precision modes? And we talked about it a little bit, but I want to show one more account. I want to show a riskier account I ran. This is an account I would never recommend somebody really run 6 max pairs unless you have a higher risk appetite, and on swing settings, and on a small balance. But I did do it. And what ended up happening is we talked about correlation. I got in 6 pairs that were highly correlated, all went into the same drawdown. The balance protection feature inside of Gearbox, which stops taking any new trades at 25% drawdown, balanced out my drawdown. I call chill out mode, stabilized me to a point where I could just handle the risk. Now, I got in drawdown for a period of 3 months on this account because I had 6 pairs all trend against me. Now, it got out of that drawdown, it took a loss, and it made it all back. Now, what's important is I want to go through the time by time history. It still won 76% of trades doing that. But if we look in all, it was crushing it, 14, 15, 11, 17, 4%. And you see in January, we didn't make any money. In February, we lost some money. But look, we're starting to make money again. So, and this is a higher risk account. Again, it was trading more pairs. So it got into a riskier time and on swing settings during major trends that started after elections. But the point is to show you the expectations that not every month could be profitable. You could have a month where you're just in some swing trades waiting for them to play out. And I want to give you an example of that. So I'm actually going to show you right here. These are trades that I've been in for a long period in time. This GBP CAD trade, you can see that it opened at the beginning of the month. Now, when this trade, all right, swings fully and it hits its take profit here, it's going to go for about $300, maybe more. Okay. $300 profit on what's $11,000 account. So in one trade setup, it took the whole month for it to play out potentially, right? From first entry here to second entry here to hitting TP here. You can see it's kind of ranging, consolidating. It just wants to get up there. It's getting close. But the point is, it could take all month for that trade setup to close. But in one trade setup, if I make 3-4%, that's my monthly gain. If I do it on a second trade setup here with GBP AUD, which opened the middle, this could be an 8% month in 2 setups. So the point in talking about that is, yes, could it be boring? Could it not look as exciting? Absolutely, it could. But is your goal to make money, or is your goal to constantly see trades? By using, precision modes, this is GBP pairs on swing. I'm actually only running 4 GBP pairs on this account because they are best performing pairs. But like I said, it's very boring because I'm not scanning a lot of pairs, and GBP pairs barely take trades. But when they do, they create trades. But the point was to show you that you don't need a lot of trades to make your monthly gain that you're looking for with the way precision modes are designed. So I just wanted to set some of those expectations that not every month may be a big profitable month. Some months you might hit it out of the park. Some months you might just be in trades all month waiting for them to play out. That's how precision modes are designed. You got to have some patience. If you really loved the way Einstein traded, stick to instant entry or skip a level. If you're okay with trying something new and you have some patience in you, precision modes are incredible too. If you want to try both, get a second license. Pick up 2 gearbox licenses, get a silver access pass, and do an intraday mode and do a precision mode. With that being said, I think we've covered anything in regards, to how to switch to Einstein, or switch from Einstein to gearbox and manage risk.